Welcome to another episode of Loud and Brown. Thank you, Johnny, for having us on. Thank you for your hospitality, also for allowing us to come into your space and record this episode. Privileged and honored to welcome you on board into our podcast today. Thank you for sparing up your time. I know how busy you are as well. Now, Seki, also tell us a little bit. Obviously, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself as well.
So my name is Johnnie Lafaele Timu. Born and raised here in South Auckland. Currently residing in Manreo. I'm 25 years of age. Samoan parents from the villages of South Auckland and Whaliwha and Samoa. I'm just another average Blake from South Auckland doing this thing. It's about me. I got a son. Got a fiance as well. I'm still at home with my mom and my siblings. And my little family.
That's awesome, Moose. How's it being a father?
It's good. Added another 20 plus years on my on my actual age to sort of try to grow up faster.
Nice. How old is the little guy?
He's 3. He's nice. 3, So it hasn't been long, but just the maturity that it kicked into me was good. It was good timing as well, because that was the time when it's just emo and party.
Was that your maturity or your king kicked it into you?
Oh, both. She kicked in some, and then once I got my son, he just kicked in even more.
Nice.
That was good. It's good timing.
Safe, man. And how's family been over these obviously we just come out of COVID. We're just past the 1 year mark now. How is everything, especially in the household?
It's good. I think for a lot of families, especially when you got a lot of adults there, like me and my mom, and like my little brothers, they all go to school, so we never really got the time to see each other.
Nice.
So as much as COVID was a nuisance and whatnot, it was mean, and I know a lot of families enjoyed the sort of just being at home with their families, spending time together. You'd be surprised at what you've missed out on. So I was really happy, especially to spend time with my son. As much as COVID was bad, it was good as well. I had some good in it as well.
No, that's awesome. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about your the Brown Pride organization that you currently the director and founder of, as well as the other usos. But and we'll talk about the fix of COVID on that front as well. But we'll delve a little bit into your past. Tell us a bit about your upbringing. Obviously, were you born and raised in Rewa as well?
So I was born on the shore. My first house in Ep.10.
Nice.
It was my mom, my dad, me and my older brother, my oldest brother. We stayed in Ep.10 in Bedford, just in these what do you call it, unit houses. They're still up there. They're like just one house split into 3 different families. So we stayed in there, and we were sort of one of the gateways for our family coming from us, or from Sa. I had a lot of male figures around me, all my dad's nephews and my cousins and stuff like that. And these guys all came through there, so it's a good upbringing. As in like thick skin, especially being around guys. They were like hard guys and whatnot. And I think around close to my primary years, then we moved out to Rewa and just lived there ever since. I was at Rewa and then started at St. Anne's Catholic school in primary. Born and raised in a Catholic family. Probably not the best practicing Catholic, but it is what it is. So St. Anne's, spent my 6 years there, and that's where I met my mates that we started Brown Pride with. 2 of them, and St. Anne's just been mates ever since. And that was my primary school early days. Then I went to La Salle in Mangrove East. Shout out to the greatest school in the world. That 7 years, probably 7 years that sort of made me who I am. It was both challenging getting into high school, especially when it's all boys and it's a school of their caliber. where Lasalle is when you're staunch in your sports and academics ain't the greatest, but trying our best. And and just from my college years, just had like ups and downs within my family. I had my little brothers, and then my parents had their disagreements and whatnot. And that just relayed onto my mid years at college, year 9, year 10, year 11. I was pretty bad. Got stood down a couple times. They tried to expel me once, just for Valia stuff. And it was just like I ain't using my parents' disagreements as an excuse. But it was I guess my energy from that I just took out at school. That's where I first found the passion for boxing or for fighting. Was I think just through the built up emotions from everything happening at home. I just take it out on anyone at school or anyone on my way walking home. But then in year 11, they sent me to the board of trustees to kick me out. That was probably my 6th, 7th chance. They just were missing a piece of paper, more evidence. Then from there, my mom just asked. That's the first time I've seen my mom break down in front of other people. And it was embarrassing because I've never seen her, just like all poly moms, they're all strong. It's just when they're within their house or just their family that they really break down and they're vulnerable. But just to see my mom cry in front of the principals and whatnot, and that's sort of when I tried to shape up. And in my last years, year 12 and 13, I was like a new person. Just finished last cell a leader, and passed on my NCAs for endorsement and stuff. So my last final years at school were good, and they really paved a strong way for me coming out of school. And my first year out of school, my old man, my last year of school left to go Australia. They just weren't working out, my parents, and he went to Australia. And then he passed away while he was there. My first year out of school. My plan was to go and study. So I was working and studying PT, doing PTs. Once he passed away, then I just dropped all my studies and just started working, trying to be man of the house and whatnot. From there, from an early age, I was lucky because last cell, the old boys really look after us young guns coming out of school. So I was blessed to go into work with Francis Falili. He's just one of the boys from 92. And he's like, they're always looking out for us. And he really trained me at a young age to work hard and just to see where he is now. He's one of the big bosses now for Countdown Supplier for the whole New Zealand. Just to see like the old oaks was doing that, sort of gave my mindset that I want to get into that field. And then just after that, slowly I was just working, climbing the ranks, and just got to a spot where I just didn't like what I was doing, didn't like the whole 9 to 5, and just getting encouraged by other people to just do your own thing. And I guess that what brings us to where we are now. Really blessed with where we are now. It wouldn't have happened without that struggle. There's a saying that just like any seed, you gotta have dirt on you to grow. I felt like everything that I came across in my young years has nurtured me into what I am today. If there was anything I could change, probably be nothing. Like how my upbringing was rough and tough, but I'm happy with it.
Man. Like you said, it gives you thick skin. You learn how to deal with adversity better. Especially like I always say this to everyone, man. Like anyone that's like takes on any sort of leadership role in their family, especially at a young age, a lot of respect also. So I know that would have been tough times as well, losing the old man. What was it that like not clicked in your head, but like what was the point when you were like, I have to take this on board?
It was probably like, I was at work when he passed away, and my cousins called me my cousins from my dad's side, because they wouldn't have told my mom. They called me and they told me, and then I went home and I was telling, and then I was like lost, and my mom was like trying to do that, just act busy, just so she doesn't look weak, and then like, oh shit, I need to sort out our flights so we can all go. And then I clicked. I was like, so I haven't saved 1 cent. I haven't done my passport in years. I haven't. Then that's when I clicked that. And then my siblings were looking at me like, oh, how we going? And like, oh yeah, I was working, but I wasn't working enough, and I didn't have enough income, and I was just spending on alks and going partying and doing Valère stuff. I didn't really think of, like, say, I'm already the man of the house. My dad was out. I should have been ready for anything. And I was so that like, the whole rush within that 1 week. So I had to fly over first, and then had to somehow help my mom to pay for my siblings to come over and her to come over. And that's when I clicked that shit. Like, so I wasn't never prepared for this. And I was like, oh, I need to get my act together and just grow up being. Like that's when you really have to be an adult and really have to be the big brother. And I folded that day. I was like, shit. I didn't know this was happening so soon. So yeah, I think from that, like, it was a blessing in disguise that it happened, because within that 1 week I realized shit, I had to up my game, and that's what switched me on, I feel.
No, that's me. I'll go or rewind a little bit into that story in terms of like when you're at school. During that tough time, obviously, when you had your mum break down in front of the board, in front of others, who were the teachers that were there, like, to help pick you up and be like, Johnny, this isn't the path, this is the path?
It's buzzing, because there's I don't know what you call it, like we don't really see our Polynesian teachers as like they are level down from our Palangi teachers, even though they have the same certifications and whatnot. But I really connected with our Islander teachers, and they're the ones that helped save me. They weren't worried about the student; they were worried about the kid. And that's what I really respected, was they worried how you're doing at home, whereas other teachers are just worried about your marks, make sure they look good when they get reported on or whatnot, whether their classes got good grades. But there was like teachers like Miss Solili, which was a Salmon English teacher. She really encouraged us boys to just share with her what's going on at home, so that she can understand why your work's delayed or why your work's not to high standards. And she always drilled it into us that this your families took it out of wherever we are. We had her, we had another New teacher, English teacher as well, Mr. Ricks, which all the La Salle boys that around my era, they'll know how much respect we had for him. He was another one that cared about the young man instead of the student. And those two were like pinnacle in my school life, in regards to shaping up. And there was like odd Palangi teachers here and there that encourage you, but there's nothing like being relatable to someone that looks like you, someone that's sort of grown up in your same background and whatnot. With those the poly teachers, they're the ones that really like you listen to. You don't, because you know they're coming from, they're talking out of love, not talking out of paychecks and whatnot. So that really helped me, was those kind of staff members. And that's because currently I'm still working part-time at La Salle in the careers department, and that's my highest priority. Is I want to care about the boy instead of the student. Worry about that later. They'll come if the boy is at the right state of mind. And that's just things that I learned from my school days, from the teachers that I remember.
No, that's awesome. In regards to the curriculum at school, probably delving into what you were just saying, like, do you reckon they need to make those kind of adjustments in terms of, because I feel like it's still happening till now. As much as you want to increase like the academic success at your school, I feel like any school that has students that enjoy wanting to go to school, that's more important. What do you reckon that our teachers nowadays, what do you reckon they obviously need to prioritize, or how do they make that connection with students.
I think putting not the student first, like just the kid, just get to know the kid. Some teachers, like I know, like now working within the LaSalle staff, you see the angle that they're coming from, and then it's weird that they complain about a kid's performance within class, but never check, what's happening at the kid's home. Things like, even though it's not their job to dive into their backgrounds and whatnot, it's just good to know. It's good knowledge, and then with that little piece of knowledge, you can change a kid's attitude towards school and whatnot. So I guess like once they prioritize knowing a kid first, especially with the Islanders, like we know connection when we feel one, and like Palang, they'll be the same as well. But I don't know, there's something about us that, and because we've always been about people, about making everyone feel welcome, that we know when we feel welcome or when someone's welcoming us.
Just to quickly cut in, I think another thing as well with us Islanders, we know when it's not genuine and when it's genuine. So like how you're saying at Mr. Rex, that was like me back at school, but as well as everyone else. You have those Palangi teachers that genuinely care. And then you have those ones that like they say chick. Exactly. And then, but like that's on like what I was just sorry to cut you off, but like you know what's bullshit. And then you know what doesn't feel real. And that's way more common in Islanders. And then if the connection's not there, and you know it's fake. Like,
it's easy. I think because we're built of love. Like even though it's like Islanders are never rich. Like if there's a meal, we share the meal. If there's
fuck tuck shop.
Even
one pie divided 8 times.
8 times. Didn't even get a bite of your own pie. It's like that. Like it's all off love. So we know when you feel a connection. We know when it's fake. We know when it's pesto. So it's like I think that's at school as well. Like the different schools will be different. Like a Palangi school, they might not really worry about the teacher's connection with them, whereas us, it's something we take quite seriously because we notice these different things, feelings we get around people. So I think with Islander, especially like a school like LaSalle, I think we're the biggest all boys school, which is I think we're 97% or 98% Islander, and it's like around 80s or 70s Samoan. So like like a school like that, you gotta understand like you have to work around the boys with different. And if you go like some flash school, they're different approach. But just from talking from LaSalle experience as a student and now as a staff, once the kid is put before the student, you'll come up with remarkable things. Be the ducks and everything.
No, but that for me, that kind of approach is the same. I feel like for, I know it's a bit random, but like cops in South Auckland. Like you can't get someone from outside of South Auckland to come in police our neighborhood because they don't understand the people. And so whenever they're going into like a site where like something's being called in, first they're gonna look at it as offenders. And whoever's like the person like that's being offended, rather than this is a Samoan or Kabbalah family. Let's see what's happening first.
I know.
Well, like I've always had a strong belief that teachers should be one of the highest paid workers in the industry, in the sense that they get to obviously carve out the future of New Zealand, especially our future leaders. But at the same time, like say if there are teachers like the teachers that you mentioned that are invested into the whole kid, and they can like create great what do you call it?
Bonds and stuff.
Great bonds as well as future role models for our younger generation. And like if you have a teacher that does like what you're saying, go beyond the kid, or like beyond the student and look at the kid and all aspects of him. I feel like if teachers like that need to get their recognition and need to get paid more. We'll talk a bit about LaSalle. I had Aaron on a a couple of episodes ago, and he
St. Peter's.
talked about his St. Peter's brotherhood.
Yeah.
Now I know something. I myself from OC. I've gone to a Ifakasa church where, like, because of the Lafaele brotherhood, like I wanted to go Lafaele, but because of how all the boys at church were from Lafaele.
Bad example.
You're not going,
But
it's always one thing I've always admired is the brotherhood at Lafaele. Tell us a little bit about it and what makes it different from any other
school.
Yeah,
it's funny you say that because I was saying with my mom, like all my cousins, they all Lafaele, and they all like at the time when I was just coming into Lasalle, they were on the whole Bloods vibe. And my mom was like, yeah, you're going to MH. But just lucky, all the schools in South Auckland were bad. So it's like, she had no choice but to try. And at least she had Catholic to look good as well. That was probably the main reason my mom pushed me to there was because it was Catholic plus my cousins. And then all my cousins, and I'm blessed because in my generation, there's 5 of us and we're all in the same year. 5 of us, we're all cousins. All the same year, and we all went Lasalle. So and there was 5 year 7 classes. So I knew I was bound to be put in one of them. And my first year Lasalle, I was got put in with my cousin. My mom was trying to move us around. I got put with him, so I was like comfortable as soon as I got there. Me and that day just kicked each other for our first year, and then started making friends. And it was a good stepping stone. Plus we had my older cousins that would come down and just get us to meet their friends, and then before we were cool because we were kicking with the year 13s or year 11s, and we were just young guns. But the brother was like, it's something like it's funny because we always say like you have to be there to like feel it, and then it's true. Like it's every word of it is like true. Like it's a different vibe. Like if there was anything like that I owe my life to, it would be Lasalle. Especially like from my young age coming into Lasalle, having my troubles at home. Lasalle, I'll go in like with a shitty attitude, like shit today, can't wait till I could say something so I can fuss him or something like that. And I walk into school with that mentality, and it just takes one guy to crack a joke, and they're like, yo, my day's all good now. It's just like the brother, like it's a space where everyone is welcome, but at the same time, you get like the jokes and like it's just you gotta be thick skinned to handle the jokes still. Like I know boys like from the 80s, like cause our neighbors here at Brown Pride, they're class of 84, 2 Palangi guys, best friends. They finished school and started this they do like pumps, like water pumps, but like massive ones in the ground. So they started just like doing plumbing, then they grew ever since class of 84s, and it's like 30-40 years ago. And like those guys still mock each other harder, and then when they see us, they harder mock us. So I think the mocking is like a piece of the brotherhood that's real special, because you know you'll never take it too hard. It's probably the one-offs when someone says your mom and then you give Fali, but it was just like everyone there, like, and when you ever had like a retreat or a youth or just like a session with like talking session with the boys, it was always the same mysteries that everyone was coming from. And it just made it more relatable to each other. That we knew everyone's coming from the same walks of life, and that we're all struggling together. But it's like the fighting, the sports, the camaraderie, like between the other boys' schools. Those are all just I think it was just pride, like no one touches that guy, or no one touches another, so no one chucks a hood on him, no one beats the first, or things like that. And that was just, I think it's all just pure love. Like even like your blood brothers, or someone pushed your cousin or uncle, it's like that. But like even till today, I still consider a lot of my Lasalle boys more family than my actual blood related family. But like even like Brown Pride has branched off Lasalle brotherhood, like 6 of us are all Lasalle boys. I got 2 of them are my cousins. One of them was my best friend, and then the other 2 are Lasalle boys that we knew from primary school. It just goes that far, like. And I know like even my son's godfather, and he's Lasalle, and like my best man, my whole line will be Lasalle. It's just things like that. It's like something you'll take to the grave, and I think that's why I tattooed the LaSalle emblem on my back. I just I like and plus I met my gang. My gang went to LaSalle and Rotorua. There's a LaSalle in Rotorua and a LaSalle in New Plymouth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she went to the one there and I met her at LaSalle, and then so that's another reason I think LaSalle. And then like my best mate, I met him year 9 at LaSalle, and he like, especially when my parents were going through their rough patches, his family would let me sleep at his house. They got me a job. They would like pick me up from Rewa, take me work and stuff like that. So yeah, that was another blessing I got from LaSalle, like jobs from LaSalle. Yeah, so and like all my jobs have been just old boys hooking it up. So yeah, really blessed, and even today, like our biggest supporters of Brown Pride are all LaSalle. So it's I owe a lot to the school. Yeah. That's why I don't mind, like, even though I'm busy as, they still want me to work there. I don't mind it because I know I owe the school a lot. So it's like, it's not undescribable, but it makes more sense when you're there. Like you're just walking around, you'll see it. It's not as strong as today as before. Just I think with social media and that, they talk more on the phone than they do in real life. Whereas back then there was probably Bieber in my day, like in my era, like Bieber just coming out. But yeah, I know the older days, like they're way more tight than like what we are. It's still there, but not as strong.
No, that's it, man. Like I said, some of the church boys were LaSallians. Some of my best mate, he's a LaSallian, and his crew. I think they're like the 06 boys.
True,
the ones that got the Kaulimas.
The OG one, So, 130.
That's what I mean, bro. It's like you said, it's not undescribable, but it's like a bond. I think you touched on it before. It's like a brotherly bond that's closer than blood at times. But then like you spend like 5 days a week.
With these
and you
guys.
Grow up like, for you spend from Form 1 to Form 7.
So
that's pretty sick, man. Like you said, it's like friends for life. Or brothers for life. That's sick.
How's the OC? Is you still tight with OC, mates?
Oh, not really. It's weird, man. Like my OC boys were like, everyone's moved on, done their own thing, got families. The guys that I'm close with from OC are like some of the boys that we weren't really close at school. We ended up playing footy together, and then we just close to now. But like there's not a brotherhood like that at OC. Like if anything, it's like everyone has their cliques back in OC. And then I was like, maybe you'll play a sport together, and that's it. And then after that, like you'll be the same form. But one thing I realized with LaSalle, man, like young or old, if you're Form 1 or Form 7, like everyone's like skills. We're briefly talking about the brotherhood back at OC. But like I said, like it was different at LaSalle. Like and I felt it like with all the boys that I hung out with at LaSalle. It's just even like it's funny, like an inside joke. Can be an inside joke through like all the students at LaSalle. And that leads me on to my next question. What's some of the most valid stuff that you've seen at school? Because I know LaSallians like.
It's funny you say that. So like on Friday nights we used to have youth at LaSalle, but it would be at like 7, just because the old boys will have to like, finish work or home then they come run the youth for us. It was for seniors, and it's something that I still always crack up when I see my cousin. And like I had my clique, we were called the Wolfpack. Shout out to the Wolfpack. And that was our clique, and we just kick back after Friday, have a massive feed, and then go youth. They were like, there's one of our mates started today. And say like, we'll go for a massive feed at Limbs or KFC if we're bowling that week. And then we'll go back to LaSalle, and we'll go into the junior toilet, and it's like a line of toilets. So then we just sit there, doing our number 2s. And this one day, I don't know why, we were like bored. Everyone's just talking, laughing. And then I was just sitting and I saw this toilet paper coming away. And I was like, so what's this? And I left it up. My cousin wiped his ass and and then we all started doing it. Going in the toilet paper at each other. Fuck, it was terrible, yo. And then he started the thing when he was just, you just like, even if it's random, say like public toilet, you wipe it, chuck it and run. Started to also lips. Exposed, so even when I tell the LaSalle students now, it's like silly the stuff, little stuff you do now ain't anything as fully as what we are doing.
One of these other videos I was watching the other day, I was cracked up, was that kid doing the speech. And he made everyone like close their eyes.
Oh
yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, he's a couple years younger than me.
But there's like, or even like I said, the boys at church, like one of the hosts was Bucky. Shout out to Bucky. Like he's just been me since
on day one.
I think being at LaSalle, just hiding.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that I know of, like far in front of like the audience, and just walk off, and then everyone's like looking at who's got it. Like suddenly, what are their mouths, dude? They're just laughing.
It's just funny, and like even the words that we say like at LaSalle, and just these like to be there when like it first started words, and then like to go out to where it is now, it's buzzing. Like there's that. Have you heard of EDF? Like yeah. So like we're year 9s, year 10s. And there's this one kid, and shout out to Sheila. He had the worst haircuts, worst fades ever. His dad used to give him fades. And we were in maths class, and I think it was maths, and he came in with a haircut, and when the boys walked in, he goes, fade. And our teacher got up, and she was pissed off that day, and she was like, if anyone says fade, you're just staying back at lunchtime. Then everyone was quiet, and everyone was still like giggling. And then at the back of the class, there was two guys. Rich, he's one of the fellow. Rich, that was just here. Him and La'au. Shout out to La'au. They were right at the back, and they always those jokers there. And quiet as. And then La'au was like, eat F. Then we're all like, hey, what the fuck? What's that? And then I remember someone like whispered to La'au, so what's eat F? It's like, so let's fade backwards. It's like, Miss can't get us if we say it backwards. And everyone just started saying, eat F. And yeah, from there, like, I used to hear like boys from other schools saying it. I was like, I feel privileged that I was there in that class where it first was made.
Oh, bro, even like fade.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was on myself, but I knew I heard it from the last.
Yeah.
And that was like, it was that. It was the slap in the head.
The blessing.
If you got a new fade. Like all that kind of stuff. Like all started off at like, obviously in South Auckland, but I feel like it always started off at like either LaSalle or some other South Auckland schools, man.
Yeah, and I think it's just like, because it's just a bunch of boys, and like you didn't have to be Mika because there's no girls around and stuff like that, so you're comfortable doing anything, Valio. And like the figure of LaSalle, like, plus you're bored because you don't see girls, so you just come up with the randomest things ever. Like there was random ass things I seen at LaSalle. Like, so how did you even think of those kind of stuff? Like I can't miss my school days. I tell the boys now, so the outside world, like you're rushing to be an adult, trying to drink early, trying to sneak out and party and stuff, and have gang years. Like, so enjoy your school days. Not in the real life. It's boring as
stress-free life, don't have to worry about bills. Just turn up to
school. Hard though. Like back then, $20 silly, you're rich, you're balling silly. Now in the real world, $20, so it's makiva.
Man, sick use. We'll delve a little bit into your the business that you run. Brown Pride. Tell us a bit about the origins. Where did the idea come from? How are you guys doing at the moment?
So like I was saying, like straight out of school, my old man passed away my first year out of school. And I was trying to think of like a way that I could become the man of the family and try to provide more for my mom and my siblings. At that time, my sister was still at Macaulay, and my younger siblings were still at primary. So it's just me and my mom working. But I was working like laboring, and I was just, I'm pretty sure it was the minimum or something. but I was making kaya money, so I tried to, and the easiest way for me, and the way I had heaps of hookins was selling, drug dealing. That's probably the most simple ways to say it. So yeah, I started slanging for a bit just to get some extra income for my family, and then yeah, I was just getting like bigger and bigger, and like I started splashing money because I have extra money and stuff. And then yeah, and then like it was getting ugly because I was starting to, like, I was getting that busy that I had to push it off to other people, and then I would push it on to the younger Lafaele boys that were out of school, just because I knew their era was hard out into it. So I started giving them stuff to sell on my behalf, or giving my boys stuff to sell on my behalf, and then and getting my gang to help me pack my stuff. And then yeah, I was just like, fuck, so it was like getting ugly. Like I was like, I think it was this one night I was packing my stuff for my gang, weighing it up and whatnot. And then I was just like, fuck, this is Valil. I was like, here's my gang, someone innocent from Rotorua. Like, she's Samoan, but she's from Rotorua, coming into my world, and now I'm pushing her. Like, at any time, my mom could walk in the room, and I'm just, we got a whole table of like, of bad things and whatnot. And then, yeah, I think, and then like realizing that I was, like, these are the Lafaele kids that I was like a school leader for, and like they all looked up to me, and now here I am pushing them to go sell me stuff. And that's when I started like clicking that shit. This is Valil. And that's why I called my son Messias. Messias is Latin for savior. It's sort of like borderline Messiah, like for Jesus, but for me, I didn't want to like disrespect the name Jesus or his title of Messiah. So I just went with my Messias. And but also the idea my gang came up with, she just liked the name. Then I looked it up and I was like, bro, that's like God's his hint to me that Sally, you need to change your life.
Yeah.
And then that's once I knew I had a son, and then I realized I need to go like down a legit path.
Yeah.
So I started I dropped like all that, like selling on the streets and stuff, and then I started studying business. So I studied small business management at Te Wangana.
Yeah.
And I studied an entrepreneur course called Co-Starters at AUT in town. And yeah, I'll say that the two different courses, one was more idea and passion focused, and whereas the Te Wangana one was all like accounting and marketing and strategies. It was boring, like I spent that one 6 months, but I learned more at the one that I done for AUT, which was 12 weeks, 10 weeks, like 3 months. Yeah. I learned way more like passion driven rather than business driven. I finished my course at Te Wangana. I came away with this idea called HYA, Helping Young Aucklanders, which is like recruitment, sort of like what we're doing now, sort of, but not really. But then when I went to Co-Starters, and they like were saying because that I knew will make good money, doing like recruitment, because you're just middleman. But then when I went Co-Starters, it was all driven by what you love and figuring out a way to generate income from what you love. And I knew I loved fitness, and I knew that I was good at it. And then I just built this idea of running fitness boot camps. I had this first idea. Those that were original to when I first came out with Brown Pride needed. I wanted a truck. One of the boys was selling a truck. I think I've shared this probably once. He was selling his family was selling his old truck. I wanted to buy it and buy gym equipment and chuck on it, and then just drive it and park it at a park and run boot camps. Like you jump on and you can use the rower or the treadmill. And that was my initial idea. And then like I dove into like driving trucks, and you had to go class 2 license class. People were like, oh, that's good. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not keen on that. So I sort of buried the idea, and then I shared with the boys, like I got this idea of these two things, like recruitment and Brown Pride, like. Oh, but I didn't have a name for it at the time, and they were like, "Sully, why didn't you just use a hole?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, for Valil, or a field." So, and but we knew that we wanted to run fitness as the core income to generate money, like for this, like for the music studio. Like all the youth get to use it for free. Like they can just do their music because there's no really studio out there that you can just go to. It's got high quality equipment and stuff, engineers. So yeah, we wanted to make money that we can generate from fitness and boot camps, so that we can do this for free. We can do cheap haircuts, do free haircuts for homeless, feed the homeless, all those stuff, and run community workshops by using fitness as our core income. So I had a meeting with the boys like 2017, I think. Yeah, we just said, because we were always on that buzz. Friday night was drink up at my house, and then this one Friday they turned up and I had a whiteboard out, and then they were like, "Hey, what's going on?" You know, like, I still have this idea that I've been sitting on for a while. And I told them, and they were like, "Yeah, well, we're ready on your go." And that's what I respect about the boys is from day one, they've always been, "Oh, it's on you. Whatever you say, we follow." And yeah, they trusted it. But then then the following year, the boys got rugby contracts. So Tino, he got a rugby contract to Ireland for 2 years, I think. Then Peter, he got a rugby contract to Spain for a year and a bit or something like that. So I was stuck here with, and then one of the other boys was in Oz. He was bouncing between New Zealand and Oz. He was fighting in Talili. He was doing his pro kickboxing and stuff like that. And so I was left with Jairus and Rich, two of them. And I knew within us we didn't have the muscle power to do all of it. So I sort of waited for those guys to come back. And then and I was chipping away at it slowly. And then once they were back, I knew, we got the manpower to go through full throttle. And we pretty much kicked off 2019, our first one. And we sort of grew from there. We're 7 seasons in, or 7 rounds in. I think we were up to our 5th one. Then we announced that we just got a place. And it's happening way faster than we thought. Like, while the boys were overseas, I started this training at Rio. There was I was working at Jets Fitness, and one of the mums there were like, "Oh, I got some mums that stay home mums. They always want to train, but I don't know what to do." And she asked me to come out, and I was training like 3 or 4 of them. Like, they're just Samoan and Maoli mums out in Rio. And and then they asked me, "What do you want to call it?" And at that time, I was like really depressed from like my dad's passing, and my thing was just I'd drink hard out like probably every night, and I would just listen to music, like whether it was rap, whether it was old school, and I'd listen to lyrics, and I really dug into lyrics. And there was a song from Poetic that came around that time called Brown Brother, which raps about like different history and things about the islanders, Polys. Where there was the Thorn Raids, where there was Polynesian Panthers and things like that. And then I started like looking into it, and I was buzzed out. I was like, "Silly, why didn't I learn this at school?" And slowly as I was learning it, I started to fall in love with this whole thing of being proud of me or being brown. I was always trying to like go with the Americans or roll with their swag or go with the Palangi swag, but I was never for it. So that song really sort of implemented me to be proud of who I was, of my brown skin. And then there was one lady that was like, "So what do we call our training?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just like brown pride. That's what we're gonna call it." She's like, "Oh yeah, I like it." And from that day, we sort of stuck with the name. And that was just me and Jairus, my cousin. He's another founder. He looks after like our merch. But like, he was there from that day, and like even he like, and I fully forgot about that first group I started with. He just told me this random day we were drinking, and he was like, "Sully, remember when you first started?" And it was like these 3 ladies, they're turning up to the community center, and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, that's where it originally started." But now we're growing into this challenge. I think we have 400, 500 people, females and males. And really blessed along the journey where we are so far. And you probably can hear the music in the background, but that's Zumba. Like now I can give it to my cousins, or Like I got my girl cousin Jax running the Zumba right now. So like we got to a stage where we have to delegate. That's how busy it is. Which is yeah. And at this young age, it's cool to learn it early.
Yeah, no, it's good that you did those courses as well. I'm pretty confident. Like hardly any island families teach you about like business management or even how to like manage your finances and stuff like that. Nah, man, that's a mean ass story. Like especially your origins and where Brown Pride comes from. What keeps you driven like on a daily basis to make sure like I know the struggles of having a business. I know the struggles of just even getting up every day. What keeps you driven to make sure Brown Pride still succeeds?
You guess going from my young days, like seeing my parents work, like early hours in the morning, late nights, and to see that they done that, and for me to want to sleep in, I'm like silly, soft. Like I grew up like my mom and they were up early. My dad especially, he was up early, and then like from there, from my upbringing, and then to go to my school years, all those struggles, and my mom paying to get me to a Catholic school, private school, and then like coming out of school, knowing where I came from, like starting developing containers. I never want to go back there, and I never want our people to think that that's where we are. That's our level of achievement. We should never feel that after school, if I'm working, I'm in a container, at a retail shop or something like that. That's what drives me as well. And I guess before and then my son, knowing that I have a son, like my dad passed away and he had like jack lift for us, like KiwiSaver was not even that much, and he didn't even do KiwiSaver properly.
Didn't have insurance.
Didn't have insurance, didn't have like a business. Like he did venture in businesses, but it was always like with a business partner. And so and over the years he'd always share from this business, he'll invest to his next gamble and then the next gamble. Like it was always a risk that he was taking. But when he went to Oz, his last business here, which was a fish shop in Otara, he left that money and went and got him like a place in Oz and got him money to start off. So he literally left us like with nothing almost. And I'd never want to do, like I never know when I'll die. I could die tomorrow, and I know I'll never left my son something. And I don't want to be the same cycle as my dad, leaving me nothing. So that drives me as well. Waking up and seeing my son sleep next to me and being like, shit, one morning he'll wake up, I'm not next to him. At least I know whether I was 70 sitting in heaven or hell that I left him something. Something here. And that drives me as well. And then just knowing where, because when I first came up with the idea at Co-Starters, I fell so in love with it that so I could go a week, 2 weeks with no sleep. And like that's how driven my mind. I'll probably close my eyes for 30 minutes and I'm back up. Like, oh shit, I got an idea. Let's make a music label called 216. Or I got an idea. I'm gonna make some merch. It's gonna have Tupac with Brown Pride logo on it. Like shit like that. It was just like, it was always keeping me up. And for that, and to reflect back on that, and to see where we got now, I was getting to a point where I was like, shit, like yo, that all paid off. And I was getting too comfortable. And then I realized that, without telling you, I got a long road ahead of us. I still got heaps of years. In the tank. I need to keep grinding. And I never want to go backwards. So I guess that's what wakes me up every morning. And to know that everyone is coming here depending on me to help them better their lives. It's not like trying to better my life now. It's like I owe it to these dudes supporting us to better theirs as well.
That's mean, man. Very inspirational as well, and it's good to see that you're not resting on the comforts of the blessings of your hard work. You know, like you still wake up and grind and stuff like that. Shout out to the Usos as well. That, you guys started off with play footy against Tino and against P as well. And bro, they're good players, man. So like for them to juggle work, footy as well as helping
Yeah,
out. It's awesome, man. And like again, it goes back to the brotherhood bond that you guys have at last.
Yeah.
So that's now that's sick. Yeah, Jesus. With Brown Pride, where do you see you guys growing from here and within the next say 5 to 10 years?
It's still on the covers. But we got some penciled in. We're still working on it. Planning moving out of here in the next year or so.
Yeah.
We're meant to stay here 2 years, but something's come up that's an opportunity that we can't miss.
Yeah.
So right now we're sort of shopping around different properties that we can build on or things like that. And it was just a blessing. And there's another blessing from LaSalle. Like some lady came in LaSalle and asked if she could use the seniors to do some volunteer work, but the seniors were already on NCA. This was last year. And then she asked, "Oh, do you know a group around here that could do make hampers and give it out to families less fortunate?" I was like, "Oh, can I take it to Brown Pride?" She was like, yeah. And then slowly as she knew more about Brown Pride, then now she's offered to buy us into a new building, sponsor it. So that's what we're sort of working on at the moment. Still in the works. But it's just like a blessing that I never thought would come this early. She asked for a meeting earlier in the year, and I was like, what's going on? Like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And then she called me out to the show, and it was at this boardroom at this restaurant. It's then I knew it was serious. I was like, oh shit. And she had a guy in a suit, and there was her lawyer and then accountant, and she had her dad, and she was like, we want to buy you out of your thing and build you a spot from scratch, or it's up to you. And then I was like, what the? And if we weren't in a public place, I probably would have gungy it or yelled out and had a massive Vailima bottle and vortexed it or something. But I was just buzzing. I was overwhelmed and speechless. She was like, oh, so we have a couple million for you, budgeted for you to get your place. And I was I had to try to act like I'm not everybody. I was like, oh, thank you. But inside I was like, oh shit. And straight away I was like, oh man, God's really blessed us on our journey. We were happy with now I'm falling in love with this place. Sometimes sometimes I just don't even want to go home. The only reason I go home is because my partner and my mom and my son is waiting for me. But I'm in love with this place, and now to hear another offer that we're out of here is it's a blessing, and this won't come again. It's like a massive stepping stone for Brown Pride, but always, the boys with their footy, they work, and plus I'm working and things like that. The pressure that we get, it sort of helps us work harder, and we're learning more under pressure than we would if we're just casually going.
Yeah.
So when this offer came, I had to sit and think shit, are we ready for this? But at the same time, I said, oh, we're not ready, but we'll learn. We'll learn under the pressure of it. And that's what I've told these guys. It's just even the boys did at the same time. When I told them, they were straight away, I knew it was coming, but I wanted to ask them because I always, if there's anything, I turn to my boys first. Yeah. And I asked them, and then they were just it's on you. So whatever you want, we'll follow. And that's why I really respect the boys. Yeah. And again, it goes back to the LaSalle brotherhood. We've learned that from a young age that we're more than just friends. We're brothers for life. And for them to trust me with their massive decision, just shows how much your love is between those boys. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And obviously with your guys' new space, who knows, the options and the choices that you have at your disposal.
Yeah.
And that's awesome to see that kind of growth in such a short time. With Brown Pride, for me, I'm slowly diving into that space of reframing the mindset of the brand. I'm not even wanting it to be a brand. I want it to be more than just that. I want it to be more about empowering not just Pacifica people, but just our own communities. Similar to the stuff that you guys do. Already of Brown Pride. During your 6-week challenges, I see you guys do a lot of community-based work. Was that always something that you always wanted to do while with your challenges, or what would you call it, challenges or something?
Yeah.
People doing the challenge.
Yeah.
Was that always something that you always like implemented into your guys' program from the get go, or like something like it just came up and you guys wanted to do?
It was like with us, like we became leaders because me and Peter were like leaders of serving. So we'd like always on Fridays or any weekday we'll just take the kids out to like serve within the community, whatever we're doing, cleaning up or helping out at things like. So that's sort of been with us since last Saturdays. And then when we came and got Brown Pride together, our first ever one, we told them that we wanna always give back somehow. So our first one we started paying for and I don't think we done it on socials, but we started paying for boys to join pep toy boxing, and we gave them boxing gears so that they could release their angers and use the energy that they need or that they have on something useful. And hopefully they crack it to make it for their families or something. So that has been involved with us since day one, and then the ideas would come as like when we got a bigger group. I was trying to find something in the community, and then we found like another guy from Rewa. He's from Rewa as well, Samoan dude, and we heard about his story. So he used to go to sophomore and just walk around and take up any homeless people and just use his coins in the laundry, let them wash their clothes. They would take them, like pay them into the pools or drop them to the pools or something, or to his house and let them go ile and wash themselves. And he was just doing that, and now he's got his own van with a couple laundry machines, a shower that he goes around. And I was like, Sully, why didn't people know about this stuff? So it was like, at first it was just to raise awareness that Sully, there's a guy like just like us doing this massive thing. And now he's like around New Zealand with different vans, and now he just kicks back at the top, and he's got different workers. So shout out to Eddie. He's got different workers running his vans for him, and I sort of just wanted to acknowledge him. But then when we went out, it turned out to something that the challenge members liked. They were like, so like, why don't we do this often? So it was more of just raising awareness for another brother doing well in our community. And then when we went, everyone fell in love with it. Like the relation, like even the homeless people, they loved our guys there because they sat down and they're same skin color, and they knew the hood out here. They knew where these guys came from and things like that. So they really enjoyed it, and it reflected on our challenge members as well. It's like it's something they never done. Whereas for me and T, we were always doing that when we were at La Salle. And it was just like, it was normal to us. Yeah. But now for us to open the gate to more people getting involved with things like that, then I was like, oh shit, this is something special. So over the years, it's just been, over the challenges, it's been growing and growing.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's always one thing that I feel like, I see your guys like group challenges, apart from the other ones. It's just your community involvement, and it's mean because you can tell that the people that are doing the challenge enjoy giving back. And like if one thing like it brings us back to our origins, we're always good around people, and we're always happy to help each other out. So that's awesome that you guys have incorporated that into your guys' challenge. Obviously we'll quickly wrap up, but like before we do, I'll ask a couple more questions. Just something I want to just pick off the top of your brain. Tomorrow, or I think, is it tomorrow? I think tomorrow is Pink Shirt Day.
Yeah.
And that's around bullying. I know bullying has a massive effect on our younger generation, especially within school. That can lead on to different like mental illnesses such as depression and suicide and all that kind of stuff. I know back in my day it was there, and I'm pretty sure when you're at school it was there. Well, what's one way that we can obviously not only raise awareness, but like how do we go ahead and we can't solve bullying obviously one day, but what's some steps that we can head off into the right direction?
Realizing what's a mock and what's an insult. That's probably the first one. And it's bad because our parents they'll be 60, 50 years old and they're still chucking insults at each other. So I think the first thing is trying to realize that what's a mock is way different to what's an insult. It's probably a first thing, and just I think it starts with yourself. Some people will just, if they didn't know themselves and they're not happy with themselves, they'll chuck the hate on someone else. I think the core thing is just getting people to understand themselves first, and then everything else will just fall into place.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, I think that's been one of the most commonly found ones is people not knowing who they are.
Yeah.
And then all their pent up frustrations. I found that it's always like the person may not always be bad, but it's just the situation that they're coming from. And obviously, I think the reason why I wanted to bring that up was like, hopefully it brings like whoever's listening to this can like bring awareness, and like it comes down to our teachers as well within our schools, like you're saying, like get to learn the kid before the student. But yeah, another question I wanted to ask you as well. I've been keeping tabs on your social media, and I understand that you're doing like a 75-day challenge. How's that coming along? Tell us a little bit about it, and then how's that coming along for you?
So it's this thing called 75 Hard Challenge. It's like worldwide, but it's new to New Zealand. Shout out to Christian Prescott. He's the owner of Sneaker Clean, young entrepreneur as well. He's younger than me as well. Probably around 22, 23, I think. But this, it's 75 days hard. I'm not going as hard as him, or his mindset is something else. He's a plumber. He's running his own Prescott Plumbing. He's got the Sneaker Clean as well, and he's been doing that for years. Like he's been on the grind. I'm just getting into the whole entrepreneur. But he I just was inspired by him, like his work rate, and I asked him, so what's this about? I read into it. It's like some entrepreneur, he's a millionaire now. It's like a way for him to get his mindset right. He'll go 75 days hard. He'll do 3 gallons of water, or a gallon of water or something a day. He's following a diet. He's reading at least 10 pages of a fiction book. He's listening to at least 1 podcast a day. Training 2 sessions a day, 45 minutes. And then documenting it and setting goals, financial goals for monthly, yearly. And doing that for 75 days hard. No cheat meals, no off days, no weekends. And it's like, that's mean to get the mind right. And like, I shouldn't have any excuses, but I don't know how like some of these guys can go that long. And do that much. Like I'm finding it all good so far, but like I'm not as strict as 2 45-minute trainings a day. Like I'll probably do 1 2-hour training or things like that. But it's a mean thing to sort of clear the mind, because I feel that's because I was getting a stage where I was feeling like I was comfortable here, and then I was like, I need something, and then I came across Christian stuff. I've been following this journey for a while, but I came across this challenge he was in, and just beginning of this week he got out to day 49, and he missed one aspect of the challenge, the daily challenge, and so now he started all the way back at day 1. And like I know I've missed some things, and I'm like, stop that, so I'm not going backwards. I'm already up to day 17. But he missed one thing, and now he's back to day 1. And that's why I respect like guys like that. And that's the sort of thing you want to get your mindset around. There's things like that just better yourself. And there's a lot of like controversy, like people asking, so like, why you, like, even though I've seen on this comments like you think overwork yourself and things like that. I think overwork yourself is overrated. Like I've gone like, what day are we up to? Like 20 something, day 20 something, with like probably 5 hours max sleep a day. Most days is 3 hours or 4 hours if I'm lucky, and that's enough. And I haven't felt sick or I haven't felt down. I think it's the mindset. If your mindset's right, your body will follow. And that 75 hard is mean. That's mean.
No, and at the same time, like the good thing about that challenge, you're not putting shit into your body. So lack of sleep, but then you're putting shit into your body.
Makes it worse.
Not training. Of course you're gonna get sick. Now that's mean as man, because I've just been keeping tabs. I don't know much about it. But like it's pretty cool too. And at the same time, it's like reaffirmation for yourself. Like
Yeah,
when you're watching
yeah,
back
yeah.
then and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, harder. Yeah.
And it's cool as because you're getting like brown pride as well as the people involved.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so like that's awesome, man.
Highly recommended.
Yeah,
Eh?
yeah, man.
Like that's a real like there's affirmations. Like I didn't even know how busy I was till I watched it. And I was like, oh shit, I done heaps today. But it's just in junior, it's just a general day for you. Yeah,
exactly, man. No, and that's me because it's like little drips and drabs of like inspiration for others, man. Or for me as well. I was looking at it, I was like, bro, if this guy feels like he's getting comfortable with fucking brown fries, fuck him, 'cause I need to up my game, and like that's what I've been like trying to do more podcasts. Trying to like we're running like a start off as our own like kind of group challenge thing. Our one was like start off with just the boys at church, like 6 or 8 of us. Then we invited more people, gone 30, and now we're like onto our first weigh-in of our third season, and it's like 60 of us.
Oh, mean,
and it's mean. Yeah, it is mean because it's like obviously like similar to the kind of skeleton that you guys have here at Brown Pride, but it was more like oh man, fuck, like for me the origins of the challenge has always been around church because like heaps of my generation, like we were fuck at church. We had to grow up fast because all the older generation got married and left. We had to like do all the Oklahoma stuff, all the church stuff, and like we were like in high school and we're like fuck this, bro. Bro, we're meant to have fun. Like it's their job to come and do all of this stuff. So like now that we're at that age, like all of us that all kind of drifted away, and it's like oh fuck. Just being hypocrites, the same thing that we were complaining about. Now these kids have to do it themselves. So so I started off this little thing with the boys. I was like, bro, you don't have to get involved hard out at church, but let's just like be there for our young ones. And so we started there. Now it's growing into this next challenge, and it's mean because like we're trying to do stuff like you guys. Cool, like sweet. Okay, people back at church, but that's not enough. Like, how can we help out our young ones properly? How can we like be more involved within our community and our community? So we're still trying to figure out ways, and we'll definitely like reach out to you guys as well for help and for different suggestions regarding that as well. But man,
it's in there's a thing that I noticed now with the gym fitness industry. Like a lot of dudes hate on each other, but the Valea thing is where there's more than enough people in New Zealand that need our help. And like, cause someone tried to start beef like between us and other challengers, like saying, "Oh, these guys doing what you do," but we didn't mind it, like, cause there's enough people out here that need the help. We can't help everyone. If we could, we would. So that's why we don't really care that other people are doing challenges. It's just when they do like Valea stuff or like their trainers or talk shit about our boys. It's like. So that my boys are still the same ruthless guys that were back then. That's the honest, but like so there's way more people out there. Like we can only do 400. There's like 5 million in NZ. And probably
a million something in
in Auckland alone. So there's heaps of people that need help. So it's like not really an issue. And that's what I was trying to tell someone recently. The churches needed to. Because the churches, they come for 3 things: to hear the gospel, to eat, and to have meetings or argue. That's the 3 things, or bingo. But the second and the most common is to eat. And we need to change that.
Yeah, bro. Oh, but that's like part of our mission as well, what we're doing. It's like a little branch of our company, and it's just like a community-based initiative, and it's starting off at our church, and like I've just started to get some of the junior youth involved, and then hopefully if we can tap into them, because at the same time, like you want to future-proof your work in a sense, like you want to know who you're doing it for, but then you want to listen to the problems that they're going through, so that like when we do move forward, making sure we take care of us, but the ones coming through as well. So there's heaps of initiatives that we want to do with different youths, trying to figure out how to do it all as on top of the challenges as another task in itself.
Yeah.
But bro,
you'll get the hang of it.
Bro, like watching you guys work, man. You can just tell it's rewarding,
Yeah.
and the end of it, man. So, no, that's awesome, Moose. Um, obviously your son is 3 years old. Have you got any planned on the way?
Oh no yet. I wanna settle this.
Yeah.
I was hoping for one soon. I don't want
Yeah.
him to be alone. But then once this new offer came, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I pull out games on. Like not ready for another one.
Yeah.
Just once that's set, and then never know. But if God blesses us with one, it is what it is.
That's me, bro. All good, man, and we'll quickly wrap up. I'll ask some quick fire questions. Just, what's one of the best? Like, so obviously, in any business, people will tell you, like, try not to get family involved or try not to get your friends involved.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you can say back to them regarding the model that you have? And like, what can you say to all those people? Like, they're not haters, but people who doubt that kind of model.
Yeah, it is. Like I still believe in that. They mix family. But with the boys, I think it was different because we went to school together, and because we're cousins, we're not immediate family. Whereas if it's your household, I never mix that in because the issues you hold in your household will affect business. The issues you hold in business will affect your household. So yeah, I do stand with them in some way, but another way is like it depends who your family. I'd never mix immediate family with business. Like I have my little brother as a barber, but that's all he'll be. Like I'll never mix him with the core team stuff. I just think it's it's too risky. It's too close to him. Yeah.
No, Siki, man. With your journey so far, like with Brown Pride, or just even your journey in life as well. What's like what if you were to narrow it down to 3 words? What would those 3 words be?
3 words: be family, hustle, and legacy.
Me. It's also what's one quote that's always stuck with you throughout your journey so far?
Journey so far.
Me and we were just walking into the gym and we saw your guys sitting quotes on the side. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. One that was stuck on my side. I guess it'll have to be probably one of the teachings from my dad, which is like someone saying that I think all dads say. If you do anything, do it well and do it to the best of your ability. That's why anything I put my name to or I put Brown Pride's name to, I want to do it 150%. That's probably one that sticks with me. And probably sticks with you, so probably sons. Always hear that.
Awesome. What with your little boy? Obviously he's 3. He's got heaps of years to come. What's the future that you want to see for him, and not just within your own household, but what is the fruit of your labor that with Brown Pride that you want to see your son like cherish in terms of like, how do I word this? What is the what do you want the community to be? For when your son grows up.
I want him to know. Oh, the Brown Pride community.
No, not the Brown Pride. Like, the work you guys are already doing in the community. Like, with your hope in the future that it leads on to something else. What is it that you want your son to grow up into that community?
A community of success makers, just a community where brown people don't laugh at the other brown guy doing something well. Something where it's normal for a brown dude to open up a gym, or it's normal for a brown guy to start his clothing label, or it's normal for a brown guy to be on a podcast. It's not like, silly, what's that? What's that thing? Oh, silly, you're changed. Something where it'll be awkward to see a Samoan in vanning containers, or Samoan just settling for mediocre. Where everyone's like, our rule number 5 is we keep everyone accountable. Iron sharpens iron. We try to push each other, like a community, like, because we've grown up with a community where we're comfortable. Go where you're comfortable. I want my son to grow in a community where, so then go where you're uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sicky, man. Sweet, man. That's probably a mean way to close us up for tonight. Like, again, I want to thank you for having us on. Thank you
Thanks.
for your hospitality, also, and um, just sharing your story tonight. What I've seen so far is like you've pretty much lived like in 25 years like a roller coaster of a life in terms of like the ups and downs, and
Yeah.
like right now you're on a mean up, and I just hope like it continues to go up from here. um all the blessings that you've gotten thus far in your, and not in Brown Pride but in your life, is just like I said, the fruits of your hard work, or the fruits of your labor, and all the grind that you do. um Keep being genuinely you.
Thanks.
I know you didn't have, like, for you. The one thing I've always admired about you is like you haven't changed from when you started to now. Like you're always you, and like I don't really know you that well, but I see it, and it's awesome to see because like as much as we want to teach our young generation as well as our South Auckland generation, like man, be like this mean island businessman, be like this mean island athlete, like like that's not genuinely them, because like they're not from South Auckland. But like continue to be yourself, continue to be the role model that you are, and honestly, I hope nothing but all the best for you and your future endeavors, and be looking forward to what happens in the next couple of months for you guys.
Thanks.
Cool.